Christmas! Merry Christmas! Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. I hope that everybody's doing really well. I hope that you're taking care of yourselves and your plants. I just wanted to come on and say thank you for this year. This year has been full of a lot of ups and downs for me personally, and I know for a lot of other people. And being able to make these videos and focus on making plant content and creative content, and honestly whatever I feel in that moment about making, has been something really good for me. And it's been amazing to have good feedback and people that actually want to watch the videos. Seeing your reactions to some content that I make is such a really great feeling, and you've all been so nice that, I don't know, I really appreciate you, and I want you to know that. I really appreciate your consistent support, especially in particular during summer when I have to have long breaks and I'm maybe not making content that's as well thought out and stuff like that, when work gets really busy and stuff, and just how understanding you are of that. And it's been really fun to grow myself throughout this houseplant hobby and learn and try out different things and have people follow along with that. Looking back on the first video I made, which was actually a houseplant tour, and I don't even know if I still have it up. It's quite funny to go back and see how much my plant collection has changed, the way I arrange my plants has changed, and the way I take care of my plants has changed. And being able to learn and grow on the channel has been really fun and exciting, and a really nice process to go through. And on top of that, being able to share things that I've learned as someone who is 100% not an expert in this at all, and I'm always learning, I'm always failing and learning from mistakes, and being able to share that on the channel is really fulfilling and really nice. So as it comes to the end of the year, I can't help but think about how the year has been on this channel. All the things that I've done, the adventures in outdoor gardening, which has not been so great as of recent in winter. It's something that I've done nothing on. But, you know, being able to try out stuff with that and follow along with updates, testing out grow lights, giving you care tips on plants that I feel I do pretty well with. From even vlogs that people don't watch as much and aren't as interested in, but something that I love making. I'm someone that has watched and participated in YouTube for a huge chunk of my life. It's something that I watch daily, and there's people that I follow along with, and to be able to actually take that leap and start making videos myself is something that I'm interested in, to do with plants. And you know, it's so weird to do that yourself. It's really easy to remove yourself from the person who's behind the screen, but to be able to try that out and push myself to do that, particularly for my confidence and so many other aspects of my life, that to get a good response when you do that is so lovely. So I just want to let you know that if you've watched my video, if you've liked, subscribed, commented, done anything or interacted in any way, it means so much to me, and I really, really appreciate everyone who's watched my videos. I hope that all of you are doing well. I hope that you have a lovely Christmas break and season and a very happy new year. I hope that you get to spend this break doing what you love and with the people that you love, and enjoying your plants, spending time with your plants. I'm looking forward to doing that. I have a couple of projects, repottings, some branch projects that I'm working on, that I'm just going to sit and chill, listen to a podcast and do some self-care while caring for my plants. And I know that's something we all love doing. And I'm so looking forward to a new year on this channel, new content, trying out new things. I have a couple of things planned, some interesting different type of videos involving branches and one involving moss as well, so you can look forward to that. I thought a chill video to do is to just take you around my plants. We're at the end of December now, so we're really in the thick of winter, and I just want to let you know how my plants are doing, what new growth is happening, what bad things are going on, just be real with you and share my collection with you. And that's it, so let's show you some winter growth. So this is the current setup in the bedroom area. As I said in my last video, I have rearranged this recently and this is what it looks like. So I'm pretty happy with this and I'll probably leave it that way for a while. So let me take you around and show you some of the new growth that's been happening, some of the winter growth. We still have some blooms going on. So we have a lot of winter morning sun going on, so I hope that's not really irritating. But up here we have my Hoya memoria. This is still blooming. Can you see the length of some of these peduncles? They constantly are blooming, reblooming. Look at that there. And this one. And yeah, this is what the blooms look like. This one's a couple of days old. They're juicy. They're really, really pretty colour. I have time-lapsed these before and they're just consistently coming up and flowering, and this plant is doing quite well. I did get quite a bit of yellowing in the summer on this plant. I think it was just getting that little bit too much light. It was getting sun stressed but then going a little bit too far the other way, so I'm gonna try and keep an eye on that next summer. Here is my Hoya Sunrise that is also still blooming away. Again, peduncles have bloomed and rebloomed quite a couple of times. I am planning on doing a Hoya bloom video, but that is yet to happen. So these are the Hoya Sunrise blooms. Can I show these even close up? Look how cute they are. And they're so fluffy. So that's that. This is my Hoya Wayetii, which has bloomed a couple of times, but as you can see here, less so. It takes a little bit more for this to bloom, in my opinion. It's just less prolific, but it's happy out here. So these three Hoyas just stay on the window here, and they like it. They seem to love it, and I love the way they hang down, and they also have a lot of aerial roots going on. So down here we have my lovely Verrucosum, which has gotten quite big. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 leaves, and it's actively growing up this branch. Now, the humidity hasn't been very high in this room a lot, probably improved ventilation and all of that. So it doesn't like prolifically stick on to this branch, but it's enough. And I think that's why it probably hasn't massively gained size in the new leaves either. It won't be that long before it reaches the end of this branch, and I really don't know what to do, particularly because it's such a weird shape. But I love the way it has now kind of fit into the space. Like it just works there, I think. Here we have my Hoya David Kamingii, which since I posted that first video of my first Hoya bloom, which was this Hoya earlier in the year, it has non-stop bloomed. It never gives up. It always has loads of them at once, as you can see. And they're really, really pretty. They smell delicious, kind of like honeycomb. They're really, really nice pop of pink colour. And this plant is doing super well. It's getting a little bit sun stressed, which I enjoy. And yeah, it's just non-stop. Less so on the leaves. It's a little bit slower to put out new leaves compared to other Hoyas, but it's blooming like mad. Here we have my Epipremnum pinnatum, and this is growing up. How am I going to show this? So you can see up there it's growing up the well now because it's reached the end of the branch. The area roots definitely do stick on very well and have done so themselves. So I kind of had this plant climbing and trailing as well at the same time. The leaves that are climbing are much larger, but looks cool. No fenestrations yet. I still think my humidity is not high enough. for it to feel super supported and happy, but it's still growing, so that's fine. Updates down here, we have my begonia snowcap's newest leaf, which is beautiful. I love this begonia. I love how big the leaves are. They're so chunky, and that's the newest leaf. I really, really like it. What else? Couple of updates here. Just my Maranta leucanura growing my original one, which has much smaller leaves, to the new one, which is over here, which I picked up recently. But love, love, love this plant. Two kind of not so well is my Anthurium aristae myoides, which looks fine, but the most recent leaf came off rotted, which made me quite worried. That hasn't happened before in this plant. Don't really know why it happened. Maybe it got cold, maybe I watered it a little bit too frequently, I'm not sure. But I'm hoping that that's the end of negative things with this plant, because I really, really love this plant. I won it in a giveaway, so I feel like it's very special and it's super beautiful. So Begonia masoniana, which I overwatered, which is fantastic. Looks floppy. Definitely a little bit more picky compared to other begonias that I have. Definitely has new leaves. It is actively growing, but I did have some of them melting. It was also in the other room that's much more dry, so I've moved it in here recently, which has higher humidity, and I'm hoping that it picks up. I just don't like how floppy it is, even though it's been watered fairly recently, so I'm not sure what's going on with that, but I'm going to keep a close eye. Other than that, my Begonia luxurians, which I had to cut back after my holidays, is regrowing again. And the cuttings that I took from it are here as well, and they're rooted and growing. So let's see. A little bit temperamental. I showed this in my last video, so I'm just going to skim over these, but this Ashkenanthus is flowering and looks super cool under the new Spider Farmer light. What else is there to show? I guess, well, how could I not show this? But my Philodendron gloriosum newest leaf is fabulous and super big and gorgeous, and I just love it. I love this plant. Now, I do have it in a kind of a long type pot because it is a crawler and it's already reached the end. It's grown so fast. So I have to get, although like it's not root bound or anything, I have to get kind of a longer pot situation. Any of you that have this plant, let me know what kind of pot you put it in. What does it look like? Do you get kind of long rectangular pots like this, or what do you grow it in? Because I find it reaches the end quite quickly. But yeah, it looks great and healthy. It has these kind of bulbous bits on the newest leaves. Let me turn around and show you. Can you see? This is so hard. And here, in here, these kind of bulbous bits, like, is that going to flower or not? The nodes in here, it is rooting into the pot, so that's great. So that is that. Isn't it just gorgeous? Like, I wanted this plant for so long. I'm so happy I picked it up. I let myself have it. Just if you're curious about my conditions, definitely lower humidity, especially, well, like it's been quite cold outside, so we've had the fire on a lot, which has dropped the humidity. And I don't actually I sometimes run the humidifier out in the area where the fire is, but I don't have one in here, and I actually rarely use them. Now during the night the humidity picks up a bit because we don't have the fire on, etc. But that's my current conditions. It probably gets to around 25 degrees. This is in the morning, so the house hasn't really heated up yet. As you can see, the highest humidity is 87 and lowest is 39, which is a little bit too low. And I'm seeing the impact of that on my plants, but they're all doing okay. We're making our way through. It's nearly the end of December, so we will soon be up to spring humidity levels in summer. So in contrast now, you can see out here the humidity is higher because it's kind of a bigger room. but as I said, it's the morning, but this will drop to 35, which is so low. But it gets really, really, really hot. It can get up to 30 degrees here. So the plants like the heat, but you know, they'd prefer the higher humidity. So nothing super of note up here, but this Epipremnum aurum, I just keep letting it get far too dry. It also needs a new pot, so it's not looking super hot right now. But we need to deal with that. I'm really hoping to get some time to repot stuff over the Christmas break and just spend some quality time with the plants. What's over here? My Hoya Crimson Princess or Queen, I cannot remember, is still putting out white leaves on this vine. Now, they're all perfectly fine. They're not browning or anything, and I freaking love them. Look at this half moon one. Let me stand back and show you this and how they all look. I just love the draping. I love the colours. Love this Philodendron Brazil here. It's growing really, really, really well. It's also like kind of wrapping around. My Hoya lacunosa Super Silver, I think it's called, grows really fast for a Hoya actually. I found this really, really, really happy here. Let me show you some updates under the Spider Farmer light. So as I've gotten the new SF300, I have moved some plants from here out there, but we have some exciting stuff. So the Hoya caudata Sumatra that I showed in my most recent plant haul video, it is drooping. I think that's to do with humidity. But look at the newest leaves. It's growing fast and they are sun stressed. So I have been giving it a lot of light. Gorge. It's so beautiful. I can't believe I waited so long to get this Hoya. But it's really, really, really pretty. I love it. It is flopping, but I'm just keeping an eye on that. Lithop's doing well. Sulcorbutia, new plant over there, doing okay. I mean, it looks the same. It's not dead, so that's good. One big update is my Hoya rotundiflora, which just recently, I think, has just decided, you know what, I'm actually happy. I'm actually happy here and we like it here and we're doing good. So this plant has taken so long, maybe even, is it a whole year? I don't think so. I can't remember, but it's a really, really long time since I've had this and it just did nothing for ages. It kind of had two points that it was growing off. One of them rotted and died, and then the other one just took a long, long time to be happy. And recently it's put out about 6 new leaves, and this big vine is growing. So I'm really happy about this. I do want to give it some kind of a small branch or a trellis or something, because I think the leaf shape of this would just look amazing put together. So Kalanchoe doing great, Schinsapsis doing great. Pilea glauca hates winter. It just hates it. Drops leaves like nutsos. I should really do an update how to care for video, because I don't think that video includes the winter care for this, and this plant just hates dry. It hates dry, it dries out so fast. If you don't water it immediately, it just gets really upset and drops all these tiny little leaves. You can see that some are yellowing and will fall off. But at the same time, I love it. I love how it looks. And it has grown a lot despite being upset at me sometimes. So down here, you can see actually, I hoovered last night and all of these tiny leaves are here again. Else, my Monstera siltepecana, I gave a branch that was up on the higher shelf and was enjoying a lot of light, actually growing really fast, but I just can't keep it up there because I do want it to grow up a branch. And we are getting a little bit of yellowing since I moved it down here, but it is actively growing. I think it will attach fairly easy. It has some juicy, can you see in the back there? Some juicy area roots starting, so I think that will be okay. Monstera Peru has sent out this runner. Look at this. I've wrapped it around the pole to see if that helps. Now, I feel like this will just be one of those spindly runners that doesn't do that much, but I'm just letting it happen. Seems pretty happy. It's growing new leaves. Squamiferum, I actually just don't think I'm that good at caring for Squamiferum, to be honest. I find it very, very hard to get it to mature its leaves. I probably let it get too dry, but also it definitely just requires much higher humidity from me in order to attach to a pole, and just doesn't do that. That's its newest leaf there, which is worrying to look at. I don't think that has enough space. I'm not really sure what to do with this plant. Do I cut it? Do I give it a bigger branch? What do I do? I have quite a few like smaller ones down at the base here that I put in as cuttings last spring to kind of beef it up a little bit instead of just being one long stalk. They're growing. They're fine. They're only babies like, but I don't really know what to do with that. Next, my Philodendron sagittifolium, which is up here, growing new leaf, growing constant new leaves. This is its newest leaf, which is absolutely gorgeous. So it's happy. Its aerial roots are nutsos, even though it's dry in here. I put some back into the pot. I nearly said tank there for some reason. Put some back into the pot, and yeah, it's doing well. This branch is quite big, so we have a lot of time before that has to be replaced. Just trying to maneuver down here. However, my turtle, some of you don't know. If you follow me on Instagram, you may know, but it's not something I post about a lot. But I do have a yellow-bellied turtle that I've had for 16 years, can you believe? And I let her walk around the house, and she loves to go up to the shelf and beat stuff up. So we have a leaf here that's cracked. We have one that she's grabbed her claws into. It's like she knows that I don't want her to do it, and so that makes her want to do it more. She's not eating them now, but her claws are quite sharp, and she beats it up. And I actually, with this plant, the first time I've ever had problems with it, it actually lost 2 of its lower leaves. They yellowed and died off. Could be just winter, I'm not sure. Maybe I let it get a little bit too dry before I watered it again, I'm not sure. But I'm not super worried because they were the lower leaves. But yeah, that was definitely a bit of a decline. Let me show you this leaf too. Oh, I just love it. I don't think I will ever be able to cut this plant. I just don't think it's one of those, I just have to let her be her best self. Oh, one big update I didn't show you up here. This is highly exciting, and I'm actually going to do a time lapse of it. So over here, underneath all of this, you will see yellowing leaves, but you will also see my variegated hibiscus, which just hates being dry for 2 seconds. If I let this dry out, it gets yellow leaves so fast you have no idea. But it's also so beautiful. But guess what? Dun, 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 dun. It is flowering indoors. It is flowering indoors. Can I repeat? I've never cared for a hibiscus indoors or outdoors before. And I have heard that they're hard to care for indoors, but look, it's just opening. So I'm going to set up a time lapse today and show that. If it turns out well, I will put it on my Instagram so you can follow me. I'll put up my handle or whatever if you want to follow me and see that. But yeah, I'm really, really, really excited. It looks pink. I think the flowers from this are red, but it looks pink now. But yeah, let me show you from another angle. Yeah, oh my god, look how beautiful. But I'm just trying to keep a really close eye on it, not let it get too dry, not overwater it, not like helicopter parent it, just in case that affects the blooms. But it seems to be going okay so far, so fingers crossed. But in terms of new leaves, these are the new leaves, and I just love it. It has kind of a pink tinge on the edge and on the stem. Okay, Philodendron pedatum, newest leaf, winter leaf, small leaf. That was the one before it. This is the highest. Look, we're getting to the end of every single branch. We have a new leaf coming here soon as well. So that's that. Looking great. Syngonium Wendlandii that I showed in my most recent plant haul. Kind of worried about this. I want to transfer it to Lecca over Christmas break, because this is already looking a little bit yellow, and I just don't have good experience caring for Syngonium in soil, so I really don't want to lose it, so I might try to transfer it to Lecca. Let me know if you want a video on that, actually. This is the humidifier I was talking about that I have from Elicombs. Great humidifier, really, really good. Works great. A little bit dirty on the top there. I don't run this all the time. I just don't. I'm just lazy with humidifiers. Just some days where it's really, really hot and dry in here, I'll turn it on for a while, but it doesn't like greatly affect this room because it's such a large room. But it will affect like the closer areas, particularly for this Syngonium, which I think likes it. So yeah. Okay, what else? We have my Philodendron tortum, which, if you can see here, is really quite tall, reaching the end of the branch. New leaves aren't massive, but they're growing. Similar to my Verrucosum, it's done this thing where it's climbing up, but it has nodes that don't have leaves on it, so we have some big sparse bits. I've never propagated it, so I might do that in spring. But yeah, it's doing well. Rhaphidophora decursiva, I'm worried about at the moment. Gave it this branch, then it stuck on like the best I have ever seen a plant stick on, in my experience, ever. It's so stuck on there. But the growth tip recently turned yellow, so that doesn't look good. But we'll see what happens. Begonia maculata, newest leaf, growing really well, super easy. Let me move this out of the way. We have my Monstera Standeliana variegata, which is really big now. Look at this. It's reached the top of its branch also, but it's super, super big. And I love it. I love it. Looks great. A little bit dry in here, as I said, for aerial roots. They haven't been doing that great over winter, but it's happy out. Not sure what I will do with it after it reaches the top. This is interesting. I do have a little update for you on this. This is what I thought was Philodendron langartense, but I don't think it is. So Caitlin from Plant Life in the Tropics has a Philodendron fuzzy petiole, which I hadn't actually heard of before this discussion. And apparently was being sold as a Nangaratense, and I bought this as a Nangaratense, or that's what it was labelled as, and I never questioned it, honestly. It looks really, really similar, but I don't think it is. So there's a couple of reasons why, mainly to do with the petioles. So these are like little tiny fuzzies, but Nangaratense is strictly dots. They're like dots that appear fuzzy, but this is actually fuzzy. So let me know if you have any thoughts on that. It also is definitely a climber. Look at that. It hasn't actually attached yet, and I think I may give it a branch. I'm not sure. But like those aerial roots want to climb something, and it's definitely very upright. Whereas Nangaratense is a crawler similar to Gloriosum. It just doesn't look like that, not in its growth habits. So that's interesting. Its newest leaf was a little bit small. It's definitely not the easiest philodendron I've had, to be honest, and it's quite bare at the bottom. I'm still unsure if I will cut this in spring or not. It's like sad to cut it, but I think it could look way better if I cut it. So I don't know. I also have some babies down here, and they're doing okay. Some of them coming out a little bit wonky, which is probably humidity, caused by humidity. Up here we have my baby, my one and only, my Begonia Black Fang, which, I mean, she can do no wrong. Look. Ugh. This is just, well, it's pretty obvious. It's still one of my favorite plants. I just love how it looks. I love the growth pattern. It has been struggling with the drop in humidity. I've lost much more leaves than I should, but it's okay. It's surviving, getting through it. Here we have, I think, Begonia snowcap. This is the newest leaf, which is bigger, so I'm happy with that. We have a new leaf too. I have this growing in Cerami, I don't know. And a bit of leca, only because I ran out of leca, but I guess it's kind of like pon. I haven't actually seen anyone growing in this, but I'm sure that they do. It's kind of like pon, and it seems to be doing well. This is my Anthurium clarinervium, which I did move from the bedroom to out here because I thought it would prefer the heat, even though the humidity has dropped. I don't really know. This plant is such a slow grower for me, and I think for a lot of other people too. But it's amazing. It's so beautiful and striking. This leaf is a little bit yellow. It's one of the oldest leaves, so I'm not really worried, but yeah. We also have a new leaf coming down here, if you can see, so not worried, but it's adjusting, definitely. It is a much different climate in this room, even though it's maybe like 2 or 3 meters from where it was before, which is just funny. It just goes to show you how much it can change. I think it's worth doing an update on my Nepenthes. So I'm going to take this down from the light. So it's just easier. Look at the leaves, lush, growing, happy. Pictures, new pictures, lots of new pictures everywhere, doing great. Very dry pictures, very, very dry, died off. Pictures, also, at the same time, leaving them all on there because I've heard that that's still good to do. I let it dry out. It's my fault. I let it dry out too much. The second it dries out, the pictures get soft and they just crisp up. Now, some of them were old and did have like flies in them and stuff. It catches little fungus gnats and stuff in here. And these are what the new pictures come in as. Some of them I got knocked off, annoyingly so, before they even had a chance to grow. They got stuck in the Hoya linearis beside it. But it's still one of my favourite plants, and I love carnivorous plants, and it's something I want to get into a bit more next year. Okay guys, that is the winter growth updates. If you have any comments, any tips for me, that would be fantastic if you left them in the comments below. Please like this video if you liked it, share it around, whatever you want to do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. That's it. I just want to let you know that I appreciate you and thank you. I'm going to shut up now, but have a great Christmas and a happy new year. I will see you again in the new year with some new videos. So take care. Love you. Bye.